Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it's live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show, as sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, and this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by, let's get it right, we have Ruhif, Sleeping Warrior, John and Arwin. How are you all doing, gentlemen?
Good morning.
All is good, sir. All is good.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, morning, depending on your location. Evening to you, Ruhif. Who's on mute? Yes, well, good to have you all on.
It's 11 o'clock here.
Yeah, late evening.
Almost
Some might
night.
call it night.
Yeah. So, I saw in the Masturbators chat that you asked, what's his face? Ranty?
Hello.
Hey, Ranty.
Just filling a spot for the time being.
Good man, good man. I saw in the Masturbators chat that you asked Issa, could you take a clip out of one of his hangouts?
Who,
Do you
me?
No, Nathan.
Oh, right.
Do you want to tell us what that was about, or is it work in progress?
Oh, thanks for the super chat, the plain truth. Much obliged.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clip was Cathexis talking to the Rumpus. I think it was Chris, Gem Panda, and also involved in the conversation obviously was Issa himself. So the conversation started with basically Cathexis saying, look, you know, I'm debating for the globe in this instance, and some of the flat earth guys made me look very silly because they asked me to present the model and I couldn't find one. So you guys have said at length that you have a working model. So can you direct me to that, please? Now, as I understand it, that has come from the back of a conversation between John, who's on the panel at the moment, and Cathexis. And it's obviously struck a chord with Cathexis because he's gone in and asked for this. And what do you know? the biggest load of word salad nonsense you have ever heard was what he got as his answer. No model presented, of course. So it was that little clip.
That's a bit of an issue because they all bandy that phrase round, don't they? What model have you got? What model have you got? I agree. I was there when that was happening, and I find it amazing that they didn't have a model. They had lots of fragmented pieces that you've got to put together in your mind for this so-called model, and that by definition isn't a model. It's just a piece of fragmented information that you have to piece together. So the argument that we should have a model, you haven't even got one yourself, guys. And you have to admit and accept that unless producer. Oh, and didn't he specifically get asked Google Earth, and he said no?
Well, no, that was Gem Panda's angle. He was like, you're just trying to trick us into saying that Google Earth's our model. And Cathexis' reply was like, no, not at all. I'm just asking where your model is, you know, tell me where it is. And they said, well, it's the datum. He says, well, I've found about 63 of those, so which one? And he was like, the most recent. It's all gone very quiet.
Silence is golden.
Say again, Ranty.
Silence is golden. I think we're
It
just
is.
waiting for the ball earth proof.
Ball
Might as
earth
well be
proof.
silent.
It's going to be a long time coming, mate. It's not a ball.
It's funny. I've been doing a painting job for a friend of mine from school, and we haven't really talked much in the last 10 years or so. And anyway, so we're just hanging around at his, painting and chatting and stuff like this. And he's into conspiracy theories. He likes the 9/11 and stuff. And I said to him, so we got talking about that, and I said, well, do you know what? I said, I'm actually into a conspiracy that probably you've never heard of, but you're probably going to go, what? And he went, oh, you're not a flat earther, are you? And I went, well, actually, yes, I am. And he went, oh, I said, do you know something else? I said, your reaction was typical of everyone's reaction, really. You're not a flat earther, are you? Because we have such a bad rep before they even know what the situation is. And when I got speaking to him, and I said, well, you know something, you know those wind farms that you can see from your house, because he lives on the promenade, you see. I said, you realise that so far down you shouldn't be able to see, and they should be on the curve, and you shouldn't be able to see Barrowing Furnace over there, and this, that, and it. When I started talking to him and telling him about this, he goes, well, right, okay, I can see where you've got a point here then. So I've semi-turned him at the minute. Semi-turned him into a half flat earther. He said he's going to look into it. So we shall see.
That's awesome. Nice when it's a skeptic.
Well, it was just his reaction originally. It was like, oh, he kind of guessed it. He went, oh, you're not a flat earther, are you? You know?
People that ask questions about the landscape. Oh, God, not a flat earther, are you?
Yeah, it was just his reaction. It was so funny. And I said, that's just typical of what everyone says. And anyway, he said, well, nobody's ever explained it to me like you've explained it to me. He says, but, you know, I suppose if you take into this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other, and then you add everything together, it might be that. He said, I said, well, just watch a few videos on it and see what's what.
I know me.
Hello.
Hey, Noe.
Hello, Nami.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Did you check out any cyclones and hurricanes last night?
Yes, I did.
No, we looked up the definition of the Coriolis effect. Do you know what the Coriolis effect is? Define it for us, please. Go ahead, define it.
It's the effect when you're in a rotating reference frame and you travel, or something travels from one rotational velocity to another, and it makes an appearance of a curve.
That's not what you said yesterday. You said it was north and south, right?
Well, yeah, north and south gives you different rotational velocities on a globe, yes.
So how can you have the Coriolis effect with only one reference frame?
What do you mean? There is a reference frame that's rotating.
Yeah, you said it was the Earth and the atmosphere that spins with it. So that's only one reference frame, right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, but as something moves north, and the rotational speed changes.
Hey, Nathan, can you share my screen, please?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me when you got it.
I can see it.
Got it. If you're in the Hangout, click on John locally.
All right, we looking at this?
Yep.
From Seagar Douglas, Introduction to Ocean Sciences. This is a university-level textbook. The Coriolis effect. When set in motion, freely moving objects, including air and water masses, move in straight paths while the Earth continues to rotate independently. Because freely moving objects are not carried with the Earth as it rotates, they are subject to an apparent deflection called the Coriolis effect. To an observer, rotating with the Earth, freely moving objects that travel in a straight line appear to travel in a curved path on the Earth. So, what's rotating? The Earth. What's rotating independent of the Earth? Freely moving objects, the atmosphere, and everything. Every freely moving object in it. Bullets, planes, balloons. Freely moving objects are not carried with the Earth as it rotates. You see this part right here? So, how can the atmosphere spin with the Earth and not spin with the Earth, please?
First of all, do you deny that on a globe that the air would spin with the Earth?
First of all, go back to my definition because it refutes your entire position and refute that.
I'm asking a question. Do you deny that the atmosphere would move with the Earth?
The atmosphere does not spin with the Earth. You know why?
So you're denying it. That's the end of the conversation then, John.
I'm not denying it. I'm showing
You
you
just did.
why it's inane. All right. If you think the atmosphere spins with the Earth, please explain how the Coriolis effect can exist when the necessary conditions for it to exist are two different coordinate systems or reference frames. One rotating Earth, one non-rotating. The atmosphere and everything in it. Number
The
two.
atmosphere rotates with the Earth.
Yeah, sure. Number two, show the experiment where gases or a gas rotate in lockstep with a rotating solid body just 5 centimeters above the surface, then provide the mechanism. Number three, please explain east, north, and south surface winds. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, please.
My question was, do you accept that on a spinning globe, the Earth would move? Is it
No.
dragged along? Does it have
No.
friction?
No. You see,
Well,
there's
that's
a
the end of the
difference.
conversation.
Yeah, it's the end of the conversation. You just got blown up.
No, you just said no.
No, I just
deny-
showed
you just
you the
deny-
definition. I didn't just say no.
You deny
I
that Earth
illustrated.
atmosphere has friction.
I
and is
just
fluid.
illustrated what the Coriolis effect is. You and your bullets and stuff. Did you know that I was retired military?
I do.
Ah, you want to go into
Yeah,
your
Captain.
bullet spiel for us, please?
I proposed an experiment yesterday, yeah.
That's not an
Before
experiment.
we do that, though, I just want to establish something, because it sounds like Ruhif saying that the atmosphere goes along with the Earth, which denies the Coriolis effect.
Right.
Say that last bit again, Nathan.
So if you are saying that the atmosphere is carried with the Earth, then you have one reference frame, therefore you deny the Coriolis effect.
No, in that reference frame, things appear to curve even though they go
No,
straight.
sorry, Ruhif. It's either that you don't understand the Coriolis effect, or you don't understand that
pretty
you
sure
are
I
denying
did.
it, because you are. If you say there
I
is
just
only
read the
one reference.
definition to you.
Well, that's their definition. I don't know whether
Oh,
That's the definition.
Yeah, like I said, this is not going to get past even at the start of a conversation if you refuse to accept that the Earth,
Right,
the
because
atmosphere.
you're
Yeah.
clueless. You're just
Okay,
making stuff up.
So hold, no, hold on. Let's not. Let's
you
just
are
hold on,
redefining
John.
the
Hold on.
Coriolis effect.
Let's just get it clear for the audience. You are a Coriolis denier because if you only have one reference frame, the Earth is carried with the atmosphere. Then you
atmosphere,
deny
yes.
the Coriolis effect.
No.
Yes.
So you don't think that
We had
freely
this last
moving?
night.
You don't think what it says there, freely moving objects are not carried with the Earth?
Sorry. Where'd it go?
Well, it depends what you call the atmosphere as a freely moving object or not. I think that
It
given that
is.
it moves
Think
with
the
the atmosphere.
atmosphere is an
with the Earth,
object?
sorry.
So you think the atmosphere is just an object? It's one object?
Is there friction and drag in the atmosphere? That's
It
the
makes
simple
no
question.
difference. Sorry, I'll just say it one more time. In order for there to be a Coriolis effect, you need two separate reference frames. If you want to argue that it is being carried along, then you are saying there is only one reference frame. It's carried with the Earth. Therefore, you deny the Coriolis effect.
Do we? We still disagree that the atmosphere is carried along with the Earth, don't we?
Do you? But do you? think
If
the
we
atmosphere
agree,
is being-
Seem to
we agree
disagree
that you
with
deny
yourself.
it. We agree that you deny the Coriolis
I
effect.
have never said
we
the
don't.
Earth, the atmosphere is stationary.
No, we don't disagree with you. We just showed you
So,
that you're
sorry,
claim
the air
is
does move.
inane.
The atmosphere does move with the Earth, then, does it, John?
No, of course it doesn't. That's ridiculous.
Well, then we're not going to get anywhere until we agree on that.
Okay, but you think it's due to air drag? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
Yeah,
asked you
friction, yeah.
yesterday,
Yeah, made of
Ruhif,
molecules.
either you concede that the Coriolis effect is supposedly caused by the air moving over the Earth or by centrifugal force type effect. And you never even responded to that. And it's getting more cleared up that that is actually the case. And you seem to be getting very confused as to how you actually define the Coriolis effect.
Let's look at
Coriolis
what
effect is a change in rotational velocity, and that happens at different latitudes.
Oh, you just made that up. Go ahead and cite that, please. Cite it.
You want me to just Google? You want me to Google rotational velocity and Coriolis?
Yeah, you're a wiki Google scientist. No, we want a citation from at least somebody with a little credibility
I will give you one tomorrow, John, if that's okay.
Yeah, let's look at another definition. This is from Encyclopedia Britannica. Within its rotating coordinate system, the object acted on by the Coriolis effect appears to deflect off its path of motion. This deflection is not real. It only appears to happen because the coordinate system that establishes a frame of reference for the observer is also rotating, i.e., there's more than one rotating or reference frame.
Wow. So according to that system, it's not even a real effect. It's just an apparent. It's an aberration.
Yeah, it's
I showed it.
Force.
That's amazing.
I showed it the other day on the presentation. Well, it wasn't the other day. Sorry, it was a few weeks ago.
It's a fictitious force.
No, no, it's an aberration. It's not actually something. It's
The
just
only-
an
the only-
illusion of something happening.
The only place where you see it is on a merry-go-round with a ball, because that's rotating. You throw the ball goes straight. Do you want me to pull that animation up again and show you?
If you like, John. If you like.
No, but I want Ruhif to argue his point, because what Ruhif is saying is, don't you guys get it? The atmosphere's carried along, and therefore he's saying, don't you get it? We've only got one reference frame, guys. Well, that makes you a Coriolis denier.
No, we're not going to get anywhere until we can agree that the atmosphere moves along with the spinning Earth.
Yeah, and if it
Yeah,
does,
we're not going to get anywhere.
but
We're
if
not
it
agreeing
does-
with your nonsense.
but if it does, and we agree, then we only have one reference frame, Ruhif. So we no longer have a Coriolis effect in that circumstance.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. You worked yourself a little bit into a corner there, Ruhif.
Oh, he's dead in a corner. You see this, Ruhif?
Yes.
You see, up on top up here, you're on the rotating reference frame. You're the red dot, right? See,
Yep.
if somebody throws a ball in another reference frame, right, the ball goes straight. Look at the bottom one here. But since you're on this rotating reference frame, it appears that this ball is
Right,
curving,
and if
but
I'm-
it's not.
Yeah.
It's going
Well, if
straight.
If I'm standing out in space,
Space.
if I'm standing out in space looking at the Earth, what do I see?
When have you done this? When can I do this?
I never said that I had, dickhead.
Although there's no point in bringing it up because we can't do this. I can easily stand on a merry-go-round and observe the Coriolis effect.
Good for you.
That's right. And you
Well, that's
can't
what we're talking
do it
about.
on the Earth.
So we don't need to go to space, do we, Ruhif, dickhead?
Dickhead.
Come on.
That exposes you right there. You're finished.
Come on,
What did
let's
you
not
say,
get
Well,
like
I
this.
just
It's
still,
like
I want to
interesting
get,
stuff.
no.
It's
I
like,
want,
yeah,
now
the
that the penny's
atmosphere
dropped, I
rotates
need to get to the
very-
conclusion with Ruhif. Do you now accept that to have a Coriolis effect, as it is claimed that we have on Earth, if we live on a ball that spins, that you must have separate reference frames, the Earth spinning separately from the atmosphere?
No, not from the atmosphere.
It says
The
it right
atmosphere
here.
moves with the Earth.
You're holding on to dogma.
No, you're
Yeah,
denying.
you are.
that
You
the
are
penny
holding
molecules have
holding on to
drag.
an image in your mind as to what you think it is.
You're
We're
denying
showing to
air,
you exactly
air
what it
resistance and
really
drag.
is. Why aren't you actually paying attention
Because
and
you haven't got over
clearing
the
up
first
the
hurdle
mist
yet.
in your head? Because you got it wrong.
They
You
also
haven't got over the first hurdle yet, Owen. You are denying that air has a resistance effect and it can drag things.
they
No,
also
Things
also
can drag air,
treat,
sorry.
they also treat, like Nummy Num was gonna say here, they also treat the atmosphere as a single entity when it's not. It's an inhomogeneous anisotropic mixture of gases. That's one of the biggest mistakes, right? And you said space, right? Or do we want to stay here for now? We'll get to space here in a second. Let's just, you want me to read this definition again, or can everyone see it?
You can
I'd
read
like
it
to.
all
I
day,
would like
John,
you to
I
read
really
it
don't
again,
care.
please. If you can just let
Okay,
John
yeah,
read it
yeah,
one more
yeah,
time.
right.
Just
I
read
can't
it one
hear.
more.
I can't hear anyone. Go ahead.
If John, if you could read it one more time, that'd be greatly appreciated.
Okay. So the Coriolis effect. When set in motion, freely moving objects, including air and water masses, move in straight paths while the Earth continues to rotate independently. Because freely moving objects are not carried with the Earth as it rotates, they are subject to an apparent deflection called the Coriolis effect. To an observer rotating with the Earth, freely moving objects that travel in a straight line appear to travel in a curved path on the Earth. End of
so
story.
when air moves north in the northern hemisphere, what happens to it?
Does this have any direction to it?
Does what have any direction to it? It says when set in motion.
The
When set in
Coriolis effect.
motion.
Right.
When set in
Does
motion.
it have a direction?
When set in motion, so if air is moving from south to north,
or east to west, or north to south.
Yeah, what happens when it goes north?
And then you have different layers of the atmosphere. We've all seen this, right? Clouds at different layers of the atmosphere. One's going one direction, the other's going the other direction, and another's going another direction, right? How do you explain that when the atmosphere is supposed to spin with the Earth from west to east? I mean,
air have drag?
I mean, a second grader can implode your argument in a second.
Yeah, Ruhef, I have some stuff on air drag here that we'll look at afterwards.
Yeah. So air drag is a thing. Air drag is a thing, right?
Yeah, air drag's a thing, but it could never possibly move the atmosphere in the way that it would do the opposite of what you're describing.
What are you talking about?
Okay, we'll share my screen.
Yeah, hold on. Do I need to get out of here?
Let John finish. We can get to this after. But you have a complete and radical misunderstanding of the effect of air drag as well, to think that it could drag the entire atmosphere with the Earth.
Go ahead, Nami. Let me stop.
Does air have friction with other air?
No, it doesn't have friction with other air. It has friction with it has
air molecules don't collide with other air molecules.
Yeah, but it's not a frictional collision. It's an elastic collision.
No, there is absolutely no such thing as a perfectly elastic collision.
No, but there's no friction between air particles to speak of.
There is.
Ruhif.
It's not an elastic collision.
To heat each other up with. Like all their energy is contained thermally, so they can't have a frictional relationship. That's why you can't. The air rubbing against air doesn't make any sound. It only makes a sound when it rubs up against a solid object. But in any case, here.
Hey, Nami, go ahead and share, man. You got it.
I got my screen up. So
yeah, you're up. If you want to see Nami's page, click on him locally.
Drag.
Say again.
If you want to watch him in the Hangout, you just have to click on him.
Okay, go ahead, Nami. I'm sorry about that.
Skin friction drag. As the layers of air move over a rough surface, the air particles in the layer closest to the surface collide with the surface. This makes the air particles slow right down. And right at the surface, they completely stop. These particles then collide with air in layers a bit further out and make them...
Oh, there we go. There we go. Air does move
As you move further away from the surface, the speed of the air particles is not affected. The region of air where the speed of particles has changed is called the boundary layer. So you think that the boundary layer is 120,000 feet high? And also,
I don't know how far it goes.
It slows them down. It doesn't speed them up. Like if I show this...
Are you a young earther or an old earther?
I'm neither.
What does that have to do with anything?
And then, okay, look at the
question.
This
There's
is
a question with a purpose, John.
This is like a photo demonstrating the effect of air drag, right? So what ends up happening is that it would cause a low pressure turbulent.
Okay, the top line. Why is the top line curved at all?
Low pressure turbulence behind on the
west.
west.
Why is the top line curved at all, Nami? Why is the top line curved at all?
What?
Why is the top line, green line, curved at all?
Because it's going over the contour of the car.
Oh, it's being pushed by other air. For fuck's
No, it's
sake.
not being pushed. I'm saying
a ridiculous conversation.
No, it's not a ridiculous conversation.
You're telling us.
Denying that air pushes other air.
Okay, so you're claiming that the boundary layer is the entire atmosphere.
Spinning long enough, I think it will be. Yeah.
What do you mean spinning? It's not a time function. It says
if something's spinning for a very long time, then air will push air, and it will eventually move all by itself.
It's a layer. There's what you don't understand is that the particles of there's zillions and zillions of particles that make up the atmosphere, and they're all individual objects, right? And it's only the ones that are touching the actual features of the surface of the Earth that are going to experience any drag, right? Then they're going to slightly affect the pressure gradient of a layer just above them and just above them, and but that effect dissipates very quickly as you move away from the surface, like it says here. Right? then this, as you move further away from the surface, the speed of the air molecules is not affected. And it doesn't matter how long you leave
Not
it.
affected by much.
No, not affected. Not
No,
affected.
because an
Period.
air particle will always hit another air particle.
Yeah, but this drag effect is not going to, the boundary layer of drag is not going to extend through the entire atmosphere. And in any case, what we should see, according to your logic here, is that what we should see is like a, shoot, sorry, I can't get my thing here again. But we should see like a turbulent, an area of turbulent low pressure on the west side of all mountains. Do we see that?
Turbulent on west side.
Yeah, we should see, I wrote, yeah, if air drag is causing the atmosphere to rotate with the Earth, we should see turbulence at the boundary layer. So there should be like all this chaotic air as the, I mean, that's the effect of skin friction as well, right? Like it causes all these eddies to form as the, basically what it implies is that the atmosphere isn't rotating with the Earth because otherwise there couldn't be drag. It was already
I don't
rotating.
understand cloud formation on mountains.
What?
I'm trying to remember cloud formation when air sort of gets pushed up and over mountains.
That has nothing to do with it. We would see a low pressure system on the west side of mountains, like on this, like what they're showing on this car. Behind the car, there's all this turbulence in the air as it passes through, right? So if mountains and things like that were causing drag, we would see turbulence always on the west side of the mountain. But
unless the atmosphere
if air drag was moving the atmosphere with the Earth, that would imply that it's not actually rotating with the Earth, right?
Say that last bit again.
I'm saying if there was air drag that was causing this turbulence at the boundary, like within the boundary layer, that would imply that the atmosphere isn't moving with the Earth.
If the atmosphere is moving with the Earth, then there's no actual drag apart from sort of weather conditions.
Yeah, if there's atmospheres moving with, so what you're saying about it, if the atmosphere were spinning with the Earth, it couldn't be drag causing it.
No, let's say that the Earth started not spinning. Like, I don't believe that. But if you started with the Earth not spinning and you started spinning it, it would eventually drag the entire atmosphere.
No, it wouldn't. There's absolutely no physics or science that is going to back that up whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like
not a time function.
Well,
can you give an example where friction of the air is used? Friction material was. Sorry.
Well, technically.
Hold on a second, Darwin. Can say hello to Woz. Hi, Woz.
Hello.
Hello.
Does air push other air?
No,
guys,
where air is used as a friction material.
Technically, theoretically, if something would start to spin up, then the air would be dragged with it.
Right?
Hold on. But eventually it'll find its equilibrium and just spin perfectly still. And there would be no more drag. It could start out as a drag.
Correct.
No,
but it would eventually no longer drag.
No, the drag happens.
Where we are. We're in equilibrium.
No, all the drag happens within the boundary layer and it's a function of the viscosity of the air, which
correct.
Is
yeah, but the thing is, it could start out as drag, but in this state, as the Earth is supposedly spinning at a stable rate, the air is no longer being dragged. It's just moving along. According to that.
And do you know what would be true?
No, you're totally wrong, Arwen. That's not how it works. It's this drag, like the boundary layer doesn't grow over time. That's not a feature of air drag that's described in any sort of, like, it's like if a plane was flying for a really long time, its boundary layer doesn't just increase to eventually drag the whole atmosphere with it either, right? Like the boundary layer is just a limitation of the viscosity of the air. Like the size of the boundary layer.
But that's because there's a lot more air than there is a physical plane out there, and the air does not.
No, it's a function
big enough. Then technically, yes. But the thing is, it's a moot point because there could have already, if you assume that the Earth would start spinning, there might have been drag in the beginning, but currently there isn't any, so there is no drag.
Please,
no, that's not how it works at all.
Can I make 2 points?
Function of turbulence at the boundary layer doesn't change over time. It's just a function of the thing moving through the air at a given moment, and the boundary layer is a function of the viscosity of the air. the size of the boundary layer. It's like the boundary layer is larger if you're dragging a thing through say liquid, because the viscosity of the liquid is much higher than the air. The air has like infinitesimally tiny amount of viscosity, right? That's what prevents
depends on the thickness.
that's why
Hold on,
air
Owen.
doesn't get very
Hold on,
much
Owen,
dragged
Owen.
along.
Hold on, I think Anthony was trying a while to get in.
Who's talking?
Just give
Could
way
I
for
make
Anthony
2 points,
for 2
please?
secs. Yes, go ahead, Anthony.
There are no examples in any part of life where air is used as a friction material, and there's no evidence that ever shows any
It's very low
mountains
friction.
with a pressure differential on the on the east side to on the west side, because if there was drag and friction in the atmosphere, you would get high turbulence on the one side, higher pressure on the one side, and you would get like a depression on the other side caused by the drag. And there is
That would
no
only
evidence of
happen
any
if
mountains
the atmosphere
causing
is
the
not moving with the Earth.
Pardon?
That would only happen if the atmosphere was not moving with
Correct.
the Earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. And there's no evidence to support the. Hang on, that would only happen if the atmosphere is not moving with. The atmosphere is not moving.
Oh, sorry.
That's why there's no.
Sorry, the atmosphere. That was a trickily phrased sentence. There would only be drag like that if the atmosphere was separate to the Earth.
And yeah, but the only time that air can be used as a friction material is if there is a very, very close proximity to the two items.
Yeah,
It has to be very close to it. In other words, a centimeter above the ground, that would give you a bit of friction, because there would be a little bit of drag created by the contour of the land. However, there is no evidence that there is anything moving with regards to the air and the friction and the drag. If there was evidence for it, we wouldn't be here arguing.
So the air within the boundary layer gets dragged along, right?
No, only the air that's directly touching the surface gets dragged along, and then the air directly above
And
that.
what does that air touch? What does that air touch?
Air, but it doesn't. It causes the air to move in the opposite direction. It causes eddies, not. It doesn't drag all the air uniformly along with it.
There would be a turbulence on the side and a hole on the west side as it's spinning.
You mean eddies like cyclones and that sort of thing?
Yeah, like kind of
I
like
can
that.
see-
You
I
get
can do that.
basically like a chaotic. You get chaotic turbulence patterns.
Sorry to interrupt.
Like
Was,
cyclones
do
and
you want to
hurricanes.
just drop and rejoin? You've got like your roboting. If you can just drop and
No,
rejoin.
it's not like you don't get cyclones and hurricanes. You get air turbulence. Am I me?
No, was just roboting. We can hardly hear what he's saying properly. If you can just drop and rejoin, was.
Yeah, can you share my screen again for a second?
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, here, this is the kind of a diagram of the pressure system that you would get with, showing different aerodynamic shapes in this case, but you get in this low pressure zone, you actually get the air moving in the opposite direction on the side that is the opposite side to the motion of the object. Right, you get a low pressure turbulent wake behind the object as it moves forward through the air and causes drag. So this, I'm just saying this, why don't you take it home and do your homework and show us and explain to us with some sort of plausible scientific explanation how air drag could possibly move the whole atmosphere. Because you've claimed this, and it's absolutely preposterous, ridiculous thing that has nothing to do with any sort of, has no physical basis whatsoever. There's no example.
I don't really see the point of all of this, but I could devise a sort of a setup that could emulate it somewhat, and that is if you take a ball stuck to a pin, it's a ball stuck to a pin so that it could rotate. You put it in another ball, and you make it airtight, and you put some sensors in between in the air layer, then I pretty much think that if you spin that ball up, especially if you do it very fast, that the air next to it will be dragged along with it. It kind of does happen. But if the space is too big, then there would be not enough traction to actually get all of it spinning.
The boundary layer is tiny because it's a function of the viscosity of the air, right? And the viscosity of air, if you compare it to say water, is actually like 5 orders of magnitude smaller or something like that. It's incredibly
I'm fine with that.
So how do you think that? Okay, so you explain to us how how air drag is dragging the entire atmosphere for, whatever it is, 20, 50 miles high, along with the Earth because of mountains, like you said yesterday.
No, I think there'll be drag at a lower level, and it will eventually. Like this, sorry, this is starting from a starting point that I don't actually.
That's not how air drag works, right? Like actually, it says these particles then collide with air in layers a bit further out and make them slow down as well. As you move further away from the surface, the speed of the air particles is not affected, right? But the boundary layer is actually really small, and it's independent of speed as well. Like that's why you could, if you're standing, like if you'll feel the air pressure change dramatically if a car like almost hits you, right? And it goes like an inch by your nose. But if you're like 6 inches away, you probably feel nothing.
Correct.
Right.
Let's say we have an experiment, right? We have.
Yeah, but if that car was passing your nose over and over and over again, you'd eventually feel it because it's pushing the wind.
No.
Question.
What do you mean over and over and over again? Like if it was doing circles around you or something like that?
Something like that.
Wait,
No.
Question for Nami.
The boundary layer is not a time function. It's just a state function due to the air viscosity.
Not affected by time at all.
No.
Question to you, Nami.
The length of time that the Earth has been rotating is not going to increase the drag effect in the boundary layer. No, it isn't. That's ridiculous.
It's kind of a
absurdity.
It's hard because I started that question from a stationary Earth starting to spin, which I obviously don't believe. But I had a question anyway.
Well, that's irrelevant, isn't it? Because we don't you don't even believe that yourself, and there's absolutely no evidence.
It leads up to my question. It leads up to my question. If we had a big bowl full of water, and we had like what are they called? The things that you mix cake batter with.
Yeah, but we need to use air as the example, not
exactly.
water.
That's a false equivalence fallacy.
Because water has
liquids are not gases.
Liquids have viscosity, like
even though they're arbitrarily classed as fluids, liquids are not gases.
You said it was a matter of degree of the viscosity.
It's a false equivalence fallacy.
Yeah, it's like when you blast with the what's it called, the Snell's law, and you try and show that air bends in the light bends in glass. Yeah, it's 700 times more dense than air. It's the same with the water. You're making it. It is a false equivalence.
We'll get to.
Why do you want to use? Let me ask you, what's motivating you to use water in your example when we're talking about air?
Because that is a friction material.
Yeah, I know.
It's just a
more. Why don't you want to use air as an example when we're talking about air, Ruhef?
Well, maybe if you let
me use the viscosity so low.
Well, guys, air does have friction. It still does. Yes, air. It's the term air friction. It really does, but
it's a
doesn't actually prove anything really. Here.
No, but it's impossible for the
relationship with air. It needs the item to be very close to it, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah.
The
boundary layer is a function of the viscosity of the air. So he wants to use an example where we're going to get a much, 3 order of magnitude higher viscosity to illustrate a point about something that
I'm fine with orders of magnitude.
Lower.
Like 300 times, not 3. It's way more.
I don't care the order of magnitude.
Yeah, that's deception.
It's a matter of degree. No, if this is a matter of degree and not type, then the argument's over.
No, get out of here. Listen, hey. This is so ridiculous, right? Listen to this. If the atmosphere spins with the Earth, every cubic nanometer of atmosphere traveling horizontally from the equator to the center of rotation must have differing tangential speeds. And every cubic nanometer of atmosphere rising in elevation from each respective horizontal cubic nanometer of atmosphere must have differing tangential speeds.
Yeah, he's right.
In fact, the higher the elevation, the faster they'll need to travel to keep up. And all this rolling along at differing speeds in unison, east. Are you on shrooms?
Further to that point, how do we get wind in 360 degrees?
Sorry, hold on. Can we just get an answer from Ruhif? Hold on. Ruhif, are you on shrooms?
Again.
Are you on shrooms?
Shrooms.
No,
I didn't quite
no,
catch
I'm
that
not.
word.
Are you sure?
Um,
Have you taken a lot of shrooms in the past?
I have never actually taken shrooms.
Okay, maybe that's the problem.
Okay, and
Neither
where
have
does where does this fairy tale spinning atmosphere end, and this vacuum fairy tale vacuum begin? Should be a 4th of July fireworks show, right?
I think it's just a gradient situation,
It's
right?
not a gradient.
You're saying the density of air is not a gradient?
I'm saying that there is no vacuum of space. That's what
Well,
I'm
of course
saying.
you are.
Okay,
You're an
hey,
idiot.
Nathan, he's just whistling past the graveyard. We already destroyed him with the Coriolis effect. Can you share my screen, please?
Yeah,
No,
sure.
no one's actually destroyed the Coriolis effect because you can prove it with if you get a basketball and you put it in a swimming pool.
How about
And
a ball and a merry-go-round? You're a little late to the party. We already did that. Can you share my screen, Nathan?
Yeah, I am.
No one's ever done this. I've never seen a video of it. You can get a basketball, you can spin it around very, very slowly and put a line of food coloring around it, and you'll see that around the equator of the basketball, the food coloring will spin opposite ways.
Nobody's
so
denying
they
the
apparently
Coriolis.
deflect, huh?
Snap.
Nobody's
Yeah,
denying that
speaking.
there's a
Try
Coriolis
doing that in
effect.
air. Try doing that in air,
Oh,
clown.
James Conda. All right.
Talking about the
Yeah,
Coriolis
no, you can
effect
actually
in
do
relation
that.
to Earth, as opposed to just the Coriolis effect, which is a thing. No one's going to deny that. You can demonstrate it as demonstrated on this show by a graphic illustration with exactly that effect. We're trying to apply it to Earth, though. Sorry, Jazz.
Well, Nathan, we can apply it in everyday facts.
Yes, you can
weather
apply it to
patterns-
Earth in your fantasy world. We're trying to find out whether it actually applies to Earth, as opposed to whether or not the Coriolis effect is a thing, which we can all observe and would never deny. It is a thing. We're not trying to demonstrate whether the Coriolis effect exists. We're trying to establish if it exists on Earth as a consequence of Earth being a bloody spinning ball, mate.
Sorry, then how do you
Nathan,
explain it?
Nathan, can we just look at the image that's on the shared feed right now? Why
The
is there
sunset?
overcast cloud? And
Go ahead,
overcast
John.
cloud
You're
9
screen
times
sharing,
out of
John.
10 in a sea horizon.
Oh.
Why is there always cloud descending below the horizon?
Yeah, do you
What
want
are
to
you
just save
talking
it?
about?
Just
I have
save
no
it.
idea.
What do you mean? What am I talking about? Clouds going below the horizon. How would that happen on a flat Earth? It must
We're
be
talking.
200
We were
miles
finished
over
with the
there.
Coriolis effect, and then we're starting on the vacuum of space. Take your clouds over your fairy tale ball and just wait.
Nathan
Change the subject.
decided to change the subject.
No, I
So I
didn't.
thought I'd change the subject.
No, I didn't. I
because of
pointed
the
out to you
image that's
quite
shown.
concisely that none of us deny that the Coriolis effect is an effect that exists. We're trying to apply that effect, specifically the Coriolis effect, which is what is on screen now. If locally you clicked on the person presenting, what you would see. We're now onto the section, vacuum of space, because of the Coriolis effect, which apparently, according to
Great.
Ruhif, drags the atmosphere all the way to the very tippy top of space. So let's establish what's happening here. Then we'll move on to
Sorry,
clouds, if that's all right with
Are we
you.
in a science versus scientism lecture?
Yeah, precisely what we're in.
Oh,
You being on
well,
the side
can I
of
take 2 minutes
scientism,
to,
Ruhif. You being on the side of scientism.
Sure.
It's
Can I take
actually
2 minutes to
pseudo-
say my piece and then I'll go to bed?
It's actually pseudo-scientism. Yeah, go
whatever.
ahead. Go ahead. Give us a
Okay.
speech.
Cool. So do you agree we're not
Pseudoscientism.
allowed? John,
ahead,
do
Ruhif.
you agree that we're not allowed to use vacuum chambers in testing anything?
Here we go with this nonsense. Go back to my video. I already
I've
discussed.
seen your video. Yeah. What's the answer?
Sure, you
There's
can use
no
vacuum chambers.
vacuum of space.
No. Are we allowed
We're
to
not
use a
changing
vacuum
the subject.
chamber in our
We're not
scientific
changing the
experiment?
subject.
No, he was kind of literally asking a straightforward question.
I'll answer the question.
Am I allowed to
Ask the
am I
question.
allowed to use a vacuum chamber in a scientific experiment?
So you're going to allow him to go ahead and derail this.
Yeah, no, you're
Why,
not even-
why don't you answer?
Why? Because we're talking about, I'll tell you why, because we're on topic. The Coriolis effect is the topic, the atmosphere being the subject of that topic. Now we're into the lack of atmosphere above the atmosphere. right? That's what we're talking about. So I don't really want the subject changed, regardless of what the answer is, fascinating though it may be, whether or not we can use a vacuum chamber in a scientific experiment. It's a valid point, Ruhif, but we're on topic.
Well, I don't know. It should be very easy to answer with the yes or no question and get it over with.
No,
No, I'm not. Okay. Can you describe the quantum eraser experiment?
Here we go.
Quantum eraser.
Here we go again. Yeah, I'm going to do that here in a week or so.
Okay. Tell me what equipment
I'm
you are
not
allowed
doing
to use
it.
and what you're not allowed to
Hey,
use.
no, we're not talking about this.
You're just
Yeah, I didn't think you would, John, dickhead.
No, you just got made a fool of, and now you're trying
Yeah.
to.
Now he's acting like a second grader.
Rightio.
Okay, no
I'm gonna
vacuum
guess
of
it's gonna be
space.
a lecture.
What? Yeah, it is going to be. Pay close attention.
All right. Good night. Catch you
All
then.
right. Yeah.
Thanks, Ruhif.
Bye-bye.
Good talking. Well, there's a gap for
All right.
Waller.
All right. We ready?
Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to propose a real world.
Excuse me.
We're nearly there. I promise
Experiment.
you'll be next. I promise.
We're nearly there. Okay. There's no vacuum of space, Ruhif, because I know you're still listening. So the first question you need to answer, how do you have a gas pressure, that is atmospheric pressure, without a container to begin with, when the definition
Hi,
of
Martin.
the pressure of a gas is the force that the gas exerts on the walls of its container?
Yep.
Let's look at the kinetic molecular theory explanation of Boyle's gas law. Let's just a couple of these. Let's take a look at these.
Yeah, let's look at it.
Observations about pressure may be explained using the following ideas. The rapid motion and collisions of gas molecules with the walls of the container causes pressure. Pressure is proportional to the number of molecule collisions and the force of collisions in a particular area. The more collisions of gas molecules with the walls, the higher the pressure. Tech target. A gas is a sample of matter that conforms to the shape of a container in which it is held and acquires a uniform density inside the container, even in the presence of fairy tale gravity, and regardless of the amount of substance in the container. If not confined to a container, gaseous matter, also known as vapor, will disperse into space. This is called entropy. Let's go with another one. The sciencelearn.org down there in New Zealand, it looks like the atoms and molecules in gases are much more spread out than in solids or liquids. They vibrate and move freely at high speeds. A gas will fill any container, but if the container is not sealed, the gas will escape. Let's finish it up with NASA. NASA in 2 sentences. Is that 2? 3. Sorry about that. The molecules are in constant random motion and frequently collide with each other and with the walls of a container. Because the molecules are in motion, a gas will expand to fill the container. Since density is defined to be the mass divided by the volume, density depends directly on the size of the container in which a fixed mass of gas is confined. Here's one for kids, and I'll finish up. Gas. It has no shape or size of its own. It takes the shape of its container and occupies the space given to it. So my question is, how can you have gas pressure, atmospheric pressure, without a container? Thank you.
What was that bit about gravity?
Gravity.
What was that bit about gravity in his
Who was
presentation?
just talking just then about
John. His name's
containers
John.
in the vacuum?
John. His name's John.
It was quantum eraser, aka John.
Yes.
John, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Here on Earth, if we get a 44-gallon drum and we suck the air out of it, what happens? We got a drum and we suck all the air out of it. What happens to the
That type
drum?
of container is designed to handle pressure from within, not a vacuum. It's a different type of design.
Well, not really, but like... Okay,
Well, just sorry, before you carry on, for the audience's benefit, so the air pressure would crush the container, assuming the container that you're talking about would crush under atmospheric pressure. So we're going to assume that this container gets crushed,
So here
right?
on Earth, it's sea level. We have a high pressure on the inside, and if we suck the air out of a container on in the middle of the container, we have a low pressure. That's a pressure differential, which is going to, the structural integrity of whatever structure that is, there's going to be a difference that's going to make that collapse.
Yeah, but
now, if you
do you have a container and you have another type
Hold
of
on.
container?
Don't hijack his
One type
point.
of
Hold on, Arwin. Hold on.
What?
Don't, you
Why
hijack...
do I always have to hold on?
Because you're hijacking his point. He's only got halfway through.
what I'm saying is that if you have a container in outer space, and this is the way I've only interpreted it, that there was the video of the train trailer fuel tank or whatever that had all the air and the life of it sucked out of it, and it collapsed on itself, which is completely understandable because there's a heap of air pressure around it that's going to help that happen.
What in the world are you talking about?
Say,
how do you have gas pressure without a container?
When did I say there was no container? Just listen for a second.
Oh my God.
We're talking about Earth, right? And according to you guys, you can just reach escape velocity and escape. There's no lid on Earth, right?
No.
Right. Well, his question is, how do you have gas pressure without a lid?
What I'm saying is one of you, I think it might have been Bob from Globebusters or something, showed a train carriage, like a fuel tank train carriage that was stationary on a track, and they were proving the vacuum of space, supposedly, by sucking all the air out of it, which is completely irrelevant because the air pressure on it.
I really don't follow your point. I'm sorry, Jazz. Jazz. I don't follow. You're talking about atmospheric pressure crushing things, and yeah, I don't follow.
It seems like our point, not your whatever you think your point is.
The container, the thing with the container, what it proved is that actual vacuum and the forces that are involved with it are very, very extreme compared to other forces. And what it was basically proving is that the theoretical gravitational pull could never match up to an infinite vacuum of space. That's what it proves. But as to get back to containers, a vacuum can be contained in a container that is designed to withstand pressure from without. And a container that contains liquid gas is designed to contain pressure from within. So if you draw a vacuum in a container that's designed to withstand pressure from within, of course it's going to collapse because it was not designed to hold a vacuum. It's a different type of design. That was my point.
Exactly, Owen. If that's you talking, that's a great point. That is a brilliant point, because what the Globebusters were saying is completely false, and that they were trying to say that a structure and a vacuum cannot hold the pressure. I don't know. I'm not a rocket scientist. That's great. But what we can...
Well, if you're going to take a vacuum chamber...
No.
Then
Owen,
there's a big chance
on
that
Earth
you
is
put
what
a
you
lot of
just
pressure in
said.
it, that it's also going to collapse. It's going to rupture.
No, but what we can prove on what you just said is that we can have things that compress air on Earth hundreds of psi what we are under pressure.
Can he answer the question, please? This is nonsense. How do you have gas pressure without a container, please?
What?
Now that is, well, according to the gravitational pull theory, then that should be possible. But it doesn't make any sense because the gravitational pull is a constant strength, and it should actually decrease the further away you go from the gravitational center.
Wait a second. Even if fairy tale gravity exists, I already showed you that it has no effect on entropy. Right? Now take your bicycle outside, your tricycle, and press that valve, on your tire, and see what happens when you press it.
I know what you're saying, but I just stated that fact between the tire or the fuel tank on the train and sucking the air out of it. In a vacuum, we can make stuff hundreds of times stronger to hold a pressure. Airliners fly at 30, 40,000 feet and hold at an altitude of 8,000 feet.
Yeah. Okay. So what's holding?
Well, yeah,
The
so
point is.
we're
So
all
what? Hold on.
container
So what is
vessel.
holding that same pressure on Earth?
Hang on a minute, if I may.
Go ahead.
So are you implying that there is a lid on the Earth
Yes.
to hold this pressure in?
Yes.
Not implying, we're telling you that to have air pressure, you must have a container.
Don't you need evidence for that?
What?
The evidence is the air pressure itself. You see, sir, if we know
Why is
for
there a lid?
sure, if we know for sure, for a fact, that ribeyes.
But how do you know for sure the atmosphere?
Would you wait a second?
How
I'm
do you
going to
know for
explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to you.
Yeah.
If you
No.
know for a fact that ribeyes come from cows, and that's an established fact, then if somebody slaps a ribeye down in front of me, I never have to see that cow. I know he exists by the mere fact I'm seeing the ribeye. Do you get it?
How much does that ribeye weigh?
Oh, God.
Come on. The point is that to keep up
Yeah, but
air
if you eat
pressure,
that, if you eat that ribeye,
to have
If you
air
eat that-
pressure that is stable, you have to have a confinement within any type of container with a
and if
limited
you eat that
dimensions.
ribeye, you're going to be producing gas.
No,
No,
this
Arwen, what I want to hear is I want to hear if that ribeye is going to weigh 180 grams or whatever. I want to know how it weighs that much, because of its density and buoyancy. If there's air molecules weighing down on that bit of steak.
Sorry, what's weighing down on it? Would you
questions.
call? Hold on, Jazz. Would you call what's weighing down on it air pressure? Would you call it pressure that's causing it to weigh something?
You're going density and buoyancy, so
No. We're talking about the air. There's air on top of it, right? And that's causing
Wait a minute, back
air
up a sec.
pressure on top of that steak, right? Atmospheric pressure, correct?
yeah.
Right. Well, do you understand that to have a pressure, you need a container?
Yeah, but what is
No,
containing
not yet, but
pressure?
not yet, but we need you to
but that's
firmly
a
establish.
question.
Hold on, let me just get it down pegged with you,
is
Jazz.
something.
Just hold your tongue, everyone. Just want Jazz to get this down pegged. So you understand now that to have a pressure, you require a container, correct?
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, but
Excellent.
to
Now hold
be
on,
a
there's one more
container.
question. Just one more question. So how do we have the pressure on the ribeye steak if we are not in a container?
How can you know we're in a container? How can you know the atmosphere
Because
doesn't
there's
go
no-
on forever?
I'm not asking about how we know we are in a container.
No,
Just
you didn't.
listen one more
You
time. One
didn't
more
give me a
time.
moment there, guys.
One more time.
How do
I'll
you
just
know
ask
the
it one more
atmosphere
time.
doesn't
I'm
go on
not
forever?
trying to. Just hold on. I'm not
just
trying to
really wanna
establish that
ask
we
Nathan
are in a
this. I just
container.
wanna ask you
I'm
one
saying,
thing.
how do we have atmospheric pressure pressing down on the ribeye steak if we are not in a container?
But how are we in a cylindrical container going up to the top of the atmosphere?
Doesn't matter what shape. I don't care what shape. It can be any shape you like. The shape's not important. Just that we are
But it
contained.
is, if that's what the law of gravity is, or
Law?
the law of buoyancy and density, that's how it has to work.
Gravity, even if fairy tale gravity exists, I just showed you it has no effect on entropy. My
It
word,
exists.
people.
It exists, the
Gravitational
force of the
pull,
molecules.
even the theory is admitted throughout the body of science to be
If-
considered a weak force.
Maybe you can-
Opposing
If gravity is okay,
basically displacement of air and pressure, which is considered a stronger force. So even
Arwen.
within the officially accepted scientism body, it does not work.
Owen, this is a question I've wanted to ask you because you just said it has to do with air and pressure, which is density and buoyancy.
So we're coming up on about an hour left on this live show. I hope you're all enjoying the debate thus far. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below the video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Thanks a million to all who have shared the show already. If you haven't, please share the show, as it increases the live audience, of course, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. There is, as I say, about 1 hour left on this live stream.
Right, so what I was saying, I didn't even remember what I was saying.
I think we should just
Can
let
he answer the question?
we just let Jazz ramble incoherently, because it just really makes the argument look better, I think.
I would like an answer.
Okay.
How do we have the pressure without us having a lid?
Calling it a lid doesn't help. Without a limited confine in which air pressure will redistribute and find an equilibrium, and then
Contain.
Okay,
because of the combination of the downward force that I call gravity and the workings of density and buoyancy, the air will redistribute itself, with the heavier parts being redistributed downwards and the lighter parts upwards within the container. That is how it works.
Owen, that's what I wanted to ask you. If gravity is considered as density and buoyancy.
No, it's not. This is a widely mistaken assumption. It is still subjected to the downward force that I still call gravity.
Okay, why are we
Everybody
talking
hates
about
that.
gravity?
No,
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not. I'm
Okay,
talking
well,
about the downward force. Yeah,
Can I just let everybody know that Arwin has his own interpretation of gravity that nobody else
I did, and I just explained it right there. I'm gonna because you guys have such an allergy for the word, I will just call it downward force.
Yes,
Although
that would be better.
technically it's not really a force, so I just doesn't.
Downward acceleration, I think, would be the better term.
Okay, well,
Anyway, without the
technically-
downward force being present, density and buoyancy would not work. Everything would just redistribute itself chaotically. There would be no
That's cool.
differentiation between the heavier particles and the lighter. That is what the downward force does.
Okay, can we get an answer to my question?
Right, where's the lid?
So the atmosphere has a lid. How do you know it doesn't go on forever? How do you know it's got a lid? It's just by what you see on Earth, is it?
We don't. We're asking
If it
you
would go
the
on
reverse.
forever, then there would be an
Hold
endless
on,
amount
hold
of
on.
air.
Let's get clarity to the subject. We are asking, why do we have an air pressure if we are not contained? That's the question.
Well, if you don't, if you're going to believe that and not
Not a
think
belief,
about
it's a
what gravity
question.
does.
It's not a belief, it's a question. I know we have density of air at this level. I'm sucking it into my lungs right now. So I know it exists, and I know it decreases as you go up.
Yep.
I've been up, right? So that is a fact.
Yep.
We don't need to get common ground on this, right? How does that exist if we are not contained? That's the question.
Well, if I said gravity,
I wanna
you just knock that on the head.
I want to go back to this point on the TV thing. Just
What do you mean gravity? That's an effect.
It exerts the force on the air molecules, does it not?
Okay, let me say it again. Let me say it again. From Tech Target.
You can say it again and again and again.
A gas is a sample of matter that conforms to the shape of a container in which it is held and acquires a uniform density inside the container.
Why does the container have to be physical?
Even in the presence of gravity and regardless of the amount of substance in the container. If not confined to a container, gaseous matter, also known as vapor, will disperse into space. It's called entropy.
Well, yeah, there's a bit. Then there's also a base assumption of a space out there. But let me
Hold on, we had a
Basically,
question. We had a question that's been left out
So
there.
space
Why does
exists.
the container
No.
have to be physical? Did you say why does the container have to be physical? If you can show me
Yes.
an example
Yes.
of
I was
a
just asking.
Yeah, show us a
show us a
non-physical
non-physical. Exactly. Show us a non-physical
even make any
container,
sense.
please. Where's this
If it's a
non-physical
spatial
container?
looping confine, then the spatial loop in itself would provide a limited amount of
Right.
space
Can you show us
for
it?
gas to distribute.
Can you show us that,
and
Arwin? Any
the
chance you
loop
can show
would
us?
be the confine.
Just
would
show
be the
us. Don't
container.
describe it.
There's
Show us.
something
Show us, Arwin.
spatial looping
Yeah,
confine.
hey, I describe it. I can't.
I
prove
don't want a
it.
description.
can
I want it to be
describe
shown to
how it
us.
works.
Show it. Show it, please.
No, I can't.
Right. Okay. Moving
What are
on
we
swiftly.
talking about?
It's a
So your
theory.
lid thing's
So
a theory.
onto the-
Your lid thing
I can
on,
attempt to
Arwin,
prove
hold
this
on.
theory, but
Back
it's
to the-
not so
Arwin.
straightforward.
Arwin, onto the non-physical container, please.
Yeah, a loop.
your lid.
It's a
Arwin, you
theoretical
failed.
concept, a spatial
Arwin,
loop, a
can you
loop
stop talking
that
ad
provides
nausea,
a limited
please?
amount of space. Could-
Arwin, can you
Arwin's
stop with your
done.
verbal diarrhea, for God's sake? Right, you can't show us your looping container, so now we're onto the ballers showing us a non-physical container.
Your looping container thing is not a theory either. It's just a speculative imagining.
No,
As with
it's
the
a
lid on the
concept, and it
atmosphere.
could be proven, provided that I have enough money, basically, to go
I get
out
it,
and measure.
Arwin. No offense, Arwin. Right, I get it. It could be proven, right? But unfortunately, we have this assumption called heliocentricity, and this has lots of nonsense already that we can wade our way through. One of this particular nonsense being that these guys think we can have a non-physical container. So I'd like them to example it, please.
Well, their non-physical container is based on the assumption.
No, I didn't
that
say we can have
gravitational
one. I'm
pull
just
will
asking.
cause that, and that's just
No, it
not.
doesn't matter.
It does matter, because that's what you think we have. That's precisely what you think we have in your crappy model of fantasy.
Every
He
time,
just said it. He just said it.
every time I try to talk, I get cut off halfway through, so I don't see the point of talking.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was asking the question. I was just asking the question. What does it have to be physical?
Well, it's not that it has to be
You don't
physical.
have any.
Hold
you
on.
don't have any
No, no,
evidence
no.
that there is a
It's
physical
not that
lid,
it has
right?
to be. We're not saying it has to be anything. We're saying that by the very nature of having a gas pressure, you would expect a container. However, in the accepted world you live on a ball, there is a non-physical container. Now, we would like you to example it to us. Please don't challenge us to prove your nonsense.
No, I'm challenging you to prove your nonsense, not my nonsense. Your
I
nonsense.
don't have any
Different
nonsense. There's no nonsense. We're saying
Where's the
gas
physical lid?
pressure is achieved from being in a container. These aren't nonsenses we're asserting. They are established facts. Now we are saying, given the established fact that a container is required, where is your non-physical container for Earth?
I told you it's gravity, but you don't go for that.
No, but
So
that
what's
doesn't
the
work.
point
It
arguing
doesn't
it?
is
even
an
work according to the
effect.
body of science. It doesn't
Body of
work.
science is all
Gravity
fake, you
is a
said.
weak
Maybe
force.
John-
You can't
John-
trust the body of
Gravitational pull
science.
is a weak force.
I don't mind
opposing to
assuming it.
the
Fine.
need for gas.
No
to
problem.
be
Hold on. No
distributed
problem. John,
into
can
an
you,
equilibrium.
John, can you
Yes.
go through why it defies the laws of entropy again? Because it isn't sinking in.
I don't know if it'll help.
I think it will,
I
because
re-
these guys want us to assume gravity. Let's assume it and show
Define
why it doesn't
entropy.
work.
Let's do it for the audience's sake anyway.
Exactly.
Please.
Oh boy. All right.
John, while you're here, we're obviously too stupid for you.
Is my
You should
screen
go
up?
onto Discord, mate. Go
You
somewhere
don't
else.
need to do
We're too
this.
stupid
Why are
for
you interrupting him? Why are you doing this?
Sorry. Go on. Carry on.
Well, he has to get in his second grade at homes. I mean, this is second grade, right?
Third.
With these ballers. So, this is from the entropy site. Okay? .edu, gas expansion into a vacuum, mixing of ideal gases or liquids, diffusion, effusion, colligative effects, and osmosis. Each fundamentally involves an increase in entropy due to increased dispersion of energy with no change in total energy in the case of ideal substances due to a greater number of microstates for the particular system involved. And that's it.
What happens when you
So-
go from a
So-
high pressure to a low pressure?
So let me explain
I
this.
was going to ask him to say that in second grade. Can you say that in second grade English for me?
You want to go on a little bit further?
No, can you say no? Can you say no? Don't. Many a true word. Can you say it again and dumb it down a bit for him?
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, Nathan. Can you dumb it down for me?
I don't think I can get any more dumber than that. That says it all.
You can't do it.
You're as dumb as you can get, eh? Okay.
He can't lower himself like that. He just
You can't get any dumber.
Energy from concentrated to dispersed.
Was
Right?
You can't do it because he hasn't got a script.
Concentration of energy from high concentration to lower concentration. From high gas
I can
pressure
dumb it down for
to
everyone.
low pressure. That is entropy. I just stated it.
He's reading the script.
Here's the other problem. Hey, Nathan.
I can dumb it down for everyone in 2 seconds.
Oh, go.
Chemtrails proof the Earth's a globe.
Jeez.
Hey,
No, that has nothing to do.
sending this into farce.
Okay, can we?
They do. Arwen, look at
Yeah.
chemtrails.
No, come on.
Jazz.
No.
Don't
Come on, let's
spoil it
not
up,
descend
Jazz.
this
Oh
into
my
farce.
God.
Come on, Jazz. Come on.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
you're stirring
Come
it
on.
up, mate. It's funny, but come on.
It's not stirring it up. It's observations anyone can make for themselves.
Yeah.
I've been saving it for so long.
Right, but it's kind of an obfuscation to the point we're on here.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not Arwen. You can look at them and observe it for yourself.
Yeah, I know, but it has nothing really directly to do with what we were discussing right
So
here.
what
But look,
chemtrails are doing,
even-
Arwen, has nothing to do with what the shape of the Earth is. Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
It has
so,
nothing to do with the current subject.
Yep. Back to the pressurized
All right.
Let's
system.
forget about.
The
let's
lack of
forget about the
lid
chemtrails
in the
for a minute.
globe system. Hello? Lack of lid.
All right, chemtrails and the video.
The thing is about air
yeah.
pressure
Like
and
a
the
balloon.
globe and the heliocentric concept of an outer space universe. The only way this could even begin to work, that the air on Earth would find some kind of equilibrium with the accepted gravitational pull holding some of it out there, is if outer space was filled with gas and not a vacuum.
Arwen,
But that
so
would cause
it's-
incredible amounts of problems relating to turbulence, friction, the motions of the planets, all of that. But that is the only way there could be some air held to this ball.
Arwen, so it's definitely a religious cult, the flat Earth.
No, it's a religious cult, the globe. We're asking you to prove why you believe you have a vacuum of space next to a pressurized gas system. And you're saying, well, you go out and prove an imaginary lid. No. That's your religious
Nathan.
belief in heliocentricity. There's no religious belief in flat Earth. We haven't asserted a thing here. We have demonstrated that you have to have a
You've
container.
asserted there's a lid.
Yeah, that's what you
Nathan,
need in a pressurized
You
system.
never. It's proven a struggle for me to get on the last 3 months, and I appreciate you for having me on. But from what you've said,
Jazz, he's talking. He won't hear you.
Can an enclosed centrifugal system, like something that is enclosed, and
when you
is
don't
a subject? No,
understand
can I
centrifugal.
please set out?
Go
my
ahead.
spell?
You
Please.
don't understand centrifugals, but go ahead.
If this has nothing to do with the centrifugal
You're an amazing
on the Earth,
speaker.
this is a separate experiment, okay? And not scientific. It's set up. Enclosed system that is centrifuging, that has air in it with extreme, say like a million rotations a second, like absurd amount.
Amazing.
Please, can I then
I know.
put the air from the centrifugal force actually push to the side and cause a vacuum? Is that physically possible? Because that no, exactly, it's not possible. So how could then, with such extreme absurd forces, a centrifugal force that is somewhat similar to the downward force assumed to be gravitational pull by ballers, then how could gravitational pull keep the air to the ball in an infinite space with vacuum? If you can't even
Math.
create a small vacuum with almost near infinite centrifugal force.
When I'm not a scientist, so I may
Maths.
be getting my forces fucked up. Centrifugal. You can walk on one of those carriageways that you get sped along in the old airports.
Yeah, I know. But I'm talking about air in this case.
Okay, well, it's the same thing. It's relative. It's relativity. If you were blindfolded with your suitcase and you stepped onto one of those things, would you know after 1 second, less than 1 second, would you know that you're on one of those things? If somebody was guiding you blindfolded and said, "Oh yeah, just hop onto that, and now we're just going to wait here for 1.5 minutes," would you know that you were moving?
In a centrifugal setup?
In an airport.
If you would go in a straight line motion at a stable speed, then no, you would not know you were moving. If you're moving in a circle, causing the centrifugal force, you would definitely notice. You would not be able to stabilize to that unless you stand at an angle towards the point of towards the axis.
Okay, so why would you be moving in a circle unless the building's so huge that you had to move in a circle and it had to account for the Earth's curvature? Or two, you just admitted that you wouldn't know that you were moving, even if you had to move 3 miles. It might take you 5 hours.
Yeah, that's very nice that our senses work this
know.
way, but it doesn't even begin to prove the motion on the Earth. Not even close. It's just, that's like how our observed senses work in relation to motion. That is all. That's all that proves. Just because that works that way doesn't prove, it doesn't even begin to prove that the Earth is a ball and spinning. Not even close. There's too much evidence to the contrary.
Okay, Arwen, are you still listening?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure of your channel, but I listen to all flat earth stuff because it's fucking amazing. Hilarious, I'll be honest, but amazing. I'm gonna find your channel, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a Patreon page, all right? And I'm gonna make a Patreon page for you to fly to Dubai.
Cool. Thanks. I always wanted to go there.
Have you heard of
One
the
way or
building,
what?
the tallest building in the world? What's the
Yeah,
tallest
I know
building?
about it.
Burj Khalifa.
Burj Khalifa. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so it might take 12, 18 months to organise. All right.
Well, go for it. I'd love to go somewhere. I haven't been outside of the country for a
Hold
long
on, we haven't
time.
heard what are you going to do? So you're going to go to the top of Burj Khalifa.
That's great, but what?
Jazz, are you going to make him jump or what?
Are you going to say that the light
Okay.
from sundown actually hits the top of the building a little bit longer?
Hang on, bro. I'll answer the other question. Even if he gets up there and says, "My eyes are not seeing it," I'm not going to make him jump because I'm a nice guy.
What's the point, though? What's the point of doing it?
I'm not going to jump without a parachute.
But no. What I'm going to do, all right, is I'm going to get you to go to the. This is 12, 18 months away. All right, it's going to take a lot of planning.
Cool.
But I'm going to get you to go to the Burj Khalifa in Abu Dhabi. It's the tallest building in the world. I haven't looked it up. I think it's close.
It's very nice proposal. Can you please get on to the point here?
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to remember how high it is. I think it's 2,000 feet or 1,900.
Yeah, it's very tall. What is your point exactly?
So what my point is that I'm going to get you to go to the beach, which is not far away from what I gather. And you're going to go to the beach and you're going to test your senses.
Okay.
Just before sunset, and your senses are going to go, "Oh, it's flat." About 10 minutes before the sun goes down, because I don't think it takes you long because my ex used to live close to there.
Yes, I'm gonna see the sun down, and then you're gonna make me move up to the top of the building, and then you can still see the sun again. Is that right?
No, you're very close. You're very close. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get you to go there at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can look at the beach, and your eyes will tell you, oh, it's flat. And then I'm going to get you to go to the Burj Khalifa, and I'm going to get you to take I think it takes 45 seconds to get to the top of the building, 100 and something stories.
Right.
Go to the observation deck.
Yeah.
Look out. No GoPro cameras. You bring a GoPro camera up there.
No, I'm not gonna take a lens camera. I'm just gonna take a
Come on, we're nearly
camera.
there. To 2 more sentences.
SLR. Take your camera up there. Then what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to get you to go back down. You're already going to have your proof right there. And then I'm going to get you to go back down, go to the beach, right on sunset, and go back up, and then shoot back up the lift. And you can watch the sunset on the beach, and then watch it up again from the observation deck.
Yeah, cool.
So what?
Love it. That's great.
So what?
So what?
Yeah.
Well, it's supposedly gonna prove that the sun is a ball moving around the globe Earth, but that's complete nonsense.
Right, I'll save you the Patreon. I'll save you all of the expenditure. Right, lie down and watch the sun set, then stand up. You get the exact same effect. Wowee, what does it prove?
It proves that the sun moves at an arc at the edge of vision, no matter the location you are on the Earth, even what height you are. So, but hey, I'd love to do it anyway. If you could please do it. Always
So
wanted to.
Okay,
no. Here's the proviso.
Here's the what?
Here's the proviso. You and
hey,
I'll pay.
I got a question. Are you drunk?
No,
He's always
I'll
drunk.
pay. I'll pay for 2 of yours.
Oh God.
Yeah,
Can you pay for my P900 too?
We still haven't got an answer to the so what question. So we've watched the sunrise twice. Right, what next?
Nathan, and
what happens next? So we've proved that the sun, you can see it if you go up. What
no,
next?
you haven't. You haven't proved anything.
Guys, you gotta stop. You gotta stop rambling.
Listen.
You gotta stop rambling now. This is a show where we're here to discuss topics, not listen to drunks ramble. Okay. So if you're not going to make a point, you got to shut up now.
I'm making a fucking point. Oakley.
No, come on, no swearing.
Language.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oakley and Nathan, if they're 2 different people, I'll pay for both of you to go to Dubai.
I've done it. I've done this. I've done this already. Right, let's just put an end to this. I've done it already. I did it at Taipei 101. I've done this already. Okay, so what?
No, not Taipei 101.
Doesn't matter. At the time, it was the tallest building in the world. I've done exactly this. Who gives a crap?
No. Nathan,
please do organize.
Hold on a second. He said he's sending Oakley and Nathan. That's what he said. So
right.
who are they?
Yeah.
I'll pay for both of you to go there if you stop. One of you goes to the Tropical Capricorn.
Hey Jazz, I'll pay you if you stop,
and I'll pay for you to get there.
Okay, it's been a lovely experience, and we've all got something to bring to this conversation. But from now on, I think the thing you should bring is silence.
Yeah, time to shut up.
Yeah, but please do send me the money. I'd love to go there.
Do you guys have an approximation for the height of the sun on flat Earth inside the solid lid that you've got on top of the atmosphere?
No.
No idea.
No.
Well, how would we have that? How would we have it?
No, Rosen, don't tell me to fuck up.
Don't know how wide it is. We don't know. Simple as that.
Yeah, we don't pretend to know, like the ballers, right?
And I specifically assume that it's not physical objects in very specific locations. So I don't prescribe to the concept of a physical sun motioning in a circle over a disc, which is what a lot of flat earthers seem to prescribe to. I do not.
No reason to assume anything that we can't find evidence for.
Right, look up intangible. Simple.
Did we get a non-physical container yet?
Nope, no non-physical container been demonstrated yet.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, for all those who assume they live on a ball, yeah, you have a requirement of a non-physical container. So we'd like to see that, please. Hello, Ellen. That's Brenda, isn't it? Hello, Brenda. Hello.
Hello.
Good to have you. So yeah, maybe Brenda's...
Want an answer to your question?
Yes, please. So the question being, why is it that we have gas pressure asserted if we are not in a container?
It's called gravity.
Gravity being an effect.
Huh?
Gravity being an effect.
Unbelievable.
No, gravity is
Trolling.
a force.
She doesn't believe
Gravity,
it.
no, I'm not trolling. That's the proper answer.
No.
Gravity is what holds an atmosphere to every single planet
The
in the
savior of
universe.
gravity.
Yes,
Okay,
it
no,
is.
no.
No,
That's
I'm not.
okay. Let's not jump down her throat. So let's see your proof of gravity.
Oh, you can just observe gravity.
Sorry. Let's
I've
see
already
your
explained this to
proof
you.
of gravity, please, Brenda.
This is the ball Earth model. You can't
Sorry,
complain
we're into
that you don't
models. Models are
understand
pseudoscience, Brenda. No.
It's not
We are not
pseudoscience.
observing Lego models. So let's see your proof of gravity, please.
It's not even pseudoscience.
What's not pseudoscience?
Models.
Your model. Because you can't even test
Why?
it. It's not
Yes,
even.
you can.
There's
No,
no
it's not.
proof of gravitational pull.
It's somewhere below pseudoscience.
Ask her to show you where that model is. Go ahead, show it to us.
It's false pseudoscience.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
fair
a
enough.
mathematical
So
model.
okay,
That's how
no
you
problem.
understand things.
It's
In
okay.
this world-
Brenda, hold on. So you said that in your model you have this gravity force that creates this, what was it? We defined it as an artificial lid, whatever. Let's see it then. Can you bring
Right,
up your
it's
model?
a force that contains...
Hold on, Brenda. Can you bring up your model and show us it, please?
Yeah, it's a non-physical lid.
Non-physical lid on your model. I'd like to see that, please.
Well, just read Newton's Principia
Not
of
read.
Mathematica.
Are you deaf? Can you show me this non-physical lid on your model, please?
It's called gravity.
Not called. Show. Eyes. I want to get eyeballs on it right
Observe
now.
Gravity, just drop a
We are.
pencil.
Let's just explain it again,
Just drop
Brenda.
a
Right?
pencil.
I understand you're late to the party, right? What we've asked people to show us is this non-physical boundary that creates the pressure. Yeah? We're in a container, and according to you, the top of the container is a non-physical lid. You said it works in your model. Now I would like to listen to this word very closely. Show me that model with its artificial lid, please.
Gravity is a force.
Show. Do you want me to bring up the definition of the word show? It's a
No,
visual
do you want
thing
me to
that
bring
I'm
up-
asking for. Do you understand what visual means?
Yes.
Visually show this model with its
Pick up
artificial
a
lid,
pencil-
please.
Pick up a pencil next to you and drop it.
Sorry,
That is-
no, that would not show that model with an artificial lid now, would
Yes,
it, Brenda?
it does.
Are
Yes,
you
it does.
deaf?
Yes, it does. It shows
Are you
that gravity
deaf?
is real
The
because
question
it
has
shows-
changed. Clearly you are
shows
deaf.
that there-
Clearly
shows
you are
that there is
deaf.
a
Do I need to
force-
shout for you because you are deaf?
Just don't talk over me. Let me
I will
explain it.
ask the question again.
Let me explain
You have
the
asserted,
Rounders model.
Brenda, you have asserted that you have a model. This
Yes.
model has an artificial lid. Now I would like you to
Yes.
show it to me. Huh. I lost my whole panel. Let's find out in about 10 seconds.
I'm still here. Never fear.
Am I
Doesn't
still
look like
here?
we have. No, we just lost Brenda.
So we're not getting the non-physical lid model?
No, we got a long silence, then Brenda disappeared. Doesn't seem like anybody joined to snipe her. She just vanished of her own accord when I asked her to show me what she had asserted, which was that she had a model. Oh well, guess we're not going to get to see the model today. Maybe we'll see it tomorrow. Hey No Globe, how you doing?
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
A couple of my guests, I think, have been sniped when I wasn't looking, so I'll just try and get them back.
Just says they left, Nathan.
Hello.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're still live. Did you have a
Let
power
me just
cut or
let
something?
everybody know what happened. Brenda
on.
came in and sat down and took a position, and then sniped me for no apparent reason. So
Who
I
did?
removed her back.
Who did? Brenda? Oh,
Yeah.
it's just you and Brenda having a tete-a-tete, was it?
Well, she took out Arwen as well.
Oh, fair enough. Can you add Darwin? Hello, Rumpus. How
Numi.
you doing? Good to have you.
She took out Nomi as well.
Hello.
So just to let Brenda know, on that account, Ellen, you'll not be coming back in again.
Well, not if you're around.
She won't be coming back in. You only get
Well,
sniped
Anthony
if you
keeps on
need-
sniping me, so every time I come in, he snipes me. So
Anyway,
he'll be
so
doing it again in a few minutes, no doubt.
sorry, just to fill you in, Rumpus. So we have this situation where there is an assertion that we have a non-physical container. Now, Brenda asserted that we could see this on your model. Is that something perhaps you could show us?
Well, our model includes a force called gravity, and that causes the atmosphere to cling to the Earth and causes a pressure gradient. And it's a force that's measurable, and you can measure it by just getting on some scales.
Sure.
Can you?
Oh, do you know you're getting on scales to show
Sorry.
your force?
Maybe
You
I
idiot.
wasn't clear in my language. It was a problem that Brenda had as well, so I understand entirely. So what I'm looking for is a visual demonstration of your model and its artificial lid, please. Can you show that to me? There's a very distinct difference of description and a visual representation. So I'd like you to show it to me, please, Rumpus. Can you do that for me?
I can show you a force in action that's causing it, yes.
Sorry, I'll say it one more time for the hard of hearing, who will shortly become the retarded. So, Rumpus, can you show me the model? Who's causing that noise? I think... Is that you, Alan?
Nope.
So it's you, according to this.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, you're still there.
Yeah, I'm still here. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Just
Right,
mute
the
if you're
model
not.
we've got includes a force called gravity, and
Can you
that
show
causes
it
things
to me, please? Can you show it? I'll just pop your screen on, Rumpus, so you understand that it's a visual thing we're talking about. I am putting you on screen so you can show it to us. Off you go.
I'll go and find a pencil dropping somewhere.
No. You're
That's a force,
obviously retarded, as it's the now 4th time I've said it to you, so you have this cognition error, right? So, try to open your ears, you dumbass, and understand what I'm asking for. Your model and its demonstration of an artificial lid. I would like you to show that to me, please. Show.
Get on some scales, and that shows.
No. I will say it again. Your model and its artificial lid, dumbass, deaf, rumpus.
I never said there was a lid.
Try and repeat back to me so I understand that you've heard me, because I understand you're deaf and retarded. Understand by repeating back to me what I'm asking for. I'm asking you specifically to show your model and its artificial lid. Please repeat back to me what I'm asking for.
A container is a physical thing that exerts.
No,
force.
I'm asking you to repeat back so I can ascertain, because I understand now after many times of dealing with you that you are in fact retarded. Therefore, before we go forward, Rumpus, and you continue to interrupt, before we go forward, I need to establish with the retarded person on the panel that they have heard and understood. And the way I'm going to establish that is you repeating back to me the following. I require A. So off you go. Repeat back to me.
The atmosphere is contained by a force, and you can demonstrate that force by dropping a pencil.
I would like you to show me your model and that artificial lid, please.
So you want me to show a model of gravity?
No, your model. Let's try it one bit at a time. Do you understand what the word show means, Rumpus?
I can't show you a force unless you.
You can't show, so you do get it. You've used it contextually, so I'll move on. You do understand what show means. Do you understand what your model, that would be your model of what you fantasize Earth looks like? That would be your model. Do you understand what your model is, Rumpus?
An idiot, isn't he? He really is an idiot.
No, we have a break in cognition. We have a retard on the panel. Someone who has been held back cognitively. That would be you, Rumpus. So I'm very slowly going through it for you because you're hard of hearing and retarded. So we'll start again. We've already had an established use of the word show, so we understand you know what show means. Now we're on to the model. So repeat after me the words, Rumpus, so I understand what you know we are showing here.
Showing you, go on some scales. That shows you the force in action.
And not the force in action, you see. You're hard of hearing and retarded. I say the model, you say the force in action because you're retarded. So, repeat after me.
The model includes the force, Nathan.
Right, I absolutely expect it to include it, Rumpus. But I'd like you to show it me. And I will examine whether or not it includes it after you have shown it me. That being the model. So, can you now show it me?
So you want a model of gravity, do you?
I want you to show me the artificial lid that contains the gas pressure. I've said it nice and slowly. Can you repeat that bit back to me? Just because we all understand you're retarded and hear different things. So, do you understand what artificial lid means? Hi, Shroomy. Hey, Shroom.
There is no artificial lid. There is a gradient of density caused by gravity.
Right, I'm sure that will be contained in your model that you are about to show us, won't it?
Our model includes a force called gravity, and that keeps all the air molecules attached
Show it.
to the Earth.
Show it then. Let's see it.
There is no artificial lid, but there is a
Show
force.
it, please. We'll establish what it's got and what it hasn't got when we see it, okay?
Right. Our model of the Earth, which is a spherical entity with...
This sounds like words.
Well, okay, I'll draw it for you. Okay, I'll draw
No. Not draw. What are you talking about? I don't want it made from now. You said you'd got a model. Why would you need to draw it? Just show me the one you've got.
Well, I'll draw a sphere. You want me to draw a sphere?
No. Show me the one you've got. You asserted that you had got a model. Now I want you to show it.
It's very evident, Nathan, you're deflecting from this. You're obviously frightened of reality. You're frightened of my explanations.
No, we're not talking about reality here. Far from. We are humouring you morons and your moronic model. This is not reality we're talking about. We're humouring you and saying, let's have a damn good look at this model you claim to have. No drawing required. Past tense. We would like to see the model you have already. So can you pop it on screen? I'll pop you up presenting, Rumpus. Let's see you put it up so we can see it.
I'll show you some pictures of some scales.
The model and its artificial lid.
Right. When you've asked me for the model, are you asking me for a representation of
the model, Rumpus? Do you need me to bring up the definition of the word model? We are talking about your fantasy model of a sphere Earth. We are talking about your idol, this spherical thing you think Earth is. That's what your model is. So, in this instance, your model has a specific task. That is to show an artificial lid. Now, I don't care how you describe it or what it shows. Let's have a little look at it, shall we?
Okay, so do you want the model of the forces or do you want the model of the physical nature of the Earth? Because
the full model in its entirety, please. The full model.
Well, that includes lots of things, including the forces.
No, all of it. I'd like to see the full working model, please. The full model.
Well, there's lots of aspects to it. There's lots of physics.
No. I don't want to see any aspects. I want to see all aspects. All of them. Specifically, and not limited to, the lid. The artificial lid that is asserted that Earth has. So in this instance, the model's got a particular task, and that's what the model's going to be showing us today, Rumpus, that lid.
Okay, you've asked me for everything. You want every aspect of the Earth model. Okay.
Well, that's what a model is. Is that not what a model is, Rumpus?
Okay, well, there's lots of aspects. You can model various aspects.
No, that's what a model would do. It would model all aspects, would it not?
Not a single model. No, you'd have to show lots of different parts of it.
No, just a single model.
The multifaceted model. So if you want just me to show you the physical nature of the Earth, I can do that. If you want me to show you about the
No, you wouldn't be doing that with a model. That's a contradiction in terms. You're not showing physical aspects of the world with a model. You're showing a model. Let's get that clear.
And everybody presents a model in a hypothesis. That's what
no. If you're dealing with a scientific hypothesis, you are dealing with aspects of the natural world, which is why we exclude models from science, Rumpus. Now, we are humouring you and having a little look at your model. Your screen is still presented, but you haven't shown us your model yet. So, can you show it, please?
Right, there are lots of aspects. Which bit do you want me to show you, Nathan?
We'll pop it up and we'll pop it up and we'll hope that it shows the aspect that contains the gas pressure.
Ah, right. So you're interested in the gas pressure. Right, okay. Okay, we'll do that then. Right.
Hey, Shroomy.
So, for instance, the velocity, there were some questions earlier about the velocity of the atmosphere, and it does have a gradient. It doesn't.
I don't need any explanations. I need you to pop it on screen.
You want me to show you a picture of the velocity of the atmosphere? That's what you want.
No. Why are you redefining my words, you retard?
You can't show...
Do I need to... Why is it that when I asked you to repeat it back to me, I just gave up? I should have pressed forward, knowing just how retarded you really are. So, I'll go through it again. As much as it pains me to deal with people who have retarded cognition and have a difficulty in hearing things, I don't mind. For you, Rumpus, I'll go through it again. While you're on screen blathering over the top of me and people can see that, right? While you're doing that, I'll ask again. We'll see if you can open your ears. I would like you to show your model and its demonstration of gas pressure being contained.
Okay, so you're asking me for how gas pressure is contained. Okay.
No. Oh, see, I'm glad I'm getting you to repeat it back. We can see just how really stupid and slow you are. Because I say one thing and you repeat something different back. No. We're stumbling on the model bit, Rumpus. We can get there together. I would like you to show. We know that bit. We're on step 1 of this sentence. Step 2. Your model. Now repeat after me. Show your model. Try it. Try it with me. We can get there together, Rumpus. Just try and shut your mouth for a second. We can all see you blathering while I'm still talking. Yeah? That's why you're up on screen. Yeah? As soon as you shut your mouth, I'll unmute you.
When you want a picture of empty space, basically. That's what you seem to want. You want a picture of empty space at the...
No, let's try that again. I want you to show me your model of Earth and its demonstration of a non-lid lid.
You want a picture in space of the edge of the atmosphere?
No, let's try it again, because you are literally stupid. I would like you to show me your model. Do you need me to literally spell it out for you? You see, look, everyone who's watching now, see these lines coming off Rumpus's face? It's him continually talking, so no one in the hangout can hear what I'm saying. He thinks that by doing this, I'll unmute him temporarily.
If you want me to present you with a photograph...
That's what he does. So he basically talks non-stop, so no one in the hangout can hear what's being said. That's his little trick. He thinks he's smart, but in actuality, he is a retard. Because he's been asked about 6 times to show his model, and there he goes again. That's why the lines are coming off him. As soon as I start to reiterate the thing he simply cannot do, which is actually show us his model. He can obfuscate. He can talk over me like he's doing right now. Not that I can't just stick him on mute very easily while he does it. But he can't show us his model. So I'll start asserting it. The globe Earth doesn't have a model. It doesn't exist. He can't show it because they don't have one. That's the bottom line here. That's why I'm asking him over and over again. And he keeps talking. Because no matter how many times I say it, he will never actually put one on screen because he doesn't have one. The globe hasn't got a model. It is that pathetic.
You can't sense the reality, Nathan. You can't sense the reality like you're trying to do here. You can't.
No, I'm censoring you. No. You're talking non-stop, so the hangout can't hear me.
You're frightened of the arguments.
You're talking non-stop.
Can I ask a question, please?
You just find some easy person who can't understand how to defend the arguments of the global Earth, and you think if you shout over them and get some idiot on, you're going to deny reality. Whereas I understand
That's why you're
everything,
here.
and I can completely demolish quantum razors every single point very, very easily.
Well, we only want one thing at the moment, Rumpus. Rumpus.
And you
just-
are scared.
Rumpus, if you can stop talking for a second. You're not the only one here.
Earlier on, there was.
Hold on, Rumpus. I still haven't got what you want. You haven't given me what I have
Can I?
asked for. You're still on screen, and you haven't given me your model demonstrating the gas pressure being contained. Can
Right,
you
so
show
want
it?
a picture of gas pressure. You do realise that's
No,
not
I do not want a picture of gas pressure. That's why I keep having to shut you up and repeat the same thing ad nausea. A picture of your model. Your
there is no
model
lid.
and its containing gases.
There is no lid, Nathan.
I don't need an assertion. I need you to show me your model doing it.
A lid because there isn't one.
I'm not muted.
Show me your
Our
model doing
does
it.
not include a lid.
Yeah, but I'm listening to the
Our model
stream.
does not include a lid, Nathan.
Okay, so show
You
it.
understand that?
So show it. Show it, please.
There is. I can't show you something that doesn't exist, and there is no
What?
artificial.
So he can't show me something that doesn't exist, and that would be the model.
No, I'm not. I mean, it does exist.
You don't have a model.
Not exist. Why do you? Who says there is one? No
You
one
don't even
says
have a
there is
model, do you, Rumpus? You don't even have
one. I
one.
have a perfect model.
So show it then.
I can explain
Show
with
it.
graphs and everything else.
Not
Right, off the gas
explain.
pressure. Okay, you
Show
want to
it.
demonstrate gas
You're on
pressure.
screen and have been for quite some time.
Okay,
I want you
right,
to show
okay,
it.
Sorry. Okay, I would show the. Okay, let's get the atmospheric gas pressure.
No, your model.
That is the model.
No, that's atmospheric gas pressure.
I'll get you the model of the gas pressure of the, and it goes and it rotates
Just
with
what-
the Earth, of course.
Well,
Does
I'm
the
just
lid
doing
rotate
that.
with the Earth? Nathan, can you hear me or whatever, man?
So
What the
here we
fuck?
go. So there we have the atmospheric pressure versus altitude. So that is our model. And at 100,
Let's just pop him on pause. That doesn't look very much like a model of Earth. That looks kind of like a graph.
that's right. Well, that's a model. That's a
Sorry, I was expecting to see like something similar to this ball Earth these guys going on about. Are you having a laugh?
This is a model. This is a
Really?
model.
It looks like a graph to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's a model. Models
We
include
don't
graphs.
live on a graph.
So, right, so when you talk about model, you want a physical representation, but I can't show you an artificial lid in atmosphere because one doesn't exist. I can only show you there's a pressure difference.
So you can't show me a model of Earth? I thought you had one.
Where'd you get gas pressure?
This is a gas pressure.
Where'd
So
you get that?
Where did I get it? From the body of science.
The body of science.
That's right.
The
which
body of
shows
science
the
compels
atmospheric
you.
pressure deteriorates to the point.
Sing
when you
it
come,
to me.
Where'd you
on
get pressure?
the altar.
Back here of 100,000.
You're begging the question.
It gets down to 30 kilopascals.
Where do you get pressure from?
You're begging the question.
A
Where
container.
do you get pressure from?
A container.
Before
No,
you
you
have
don't.
But you said in a
gas pressure.
You do not need a
But
container.
you were saying in a container.
Yes, you do.
the
I
gas-
just gave
No,
you about 10
those
different
quotes-
definitions of it.
Okay, John, those quotes that
You said in a
had-
container
They're
that
not
gas
quotes.
equalizes.
Hold on, can I
quotes.
speak, please? Please.
They're not
John,
quotes. They're
John,
citations,
Quantum Eraser-
please.
Quantum Eraser
Please
presented
tell
some
us
I will.
how you can have gas pressure
do?
without a
Quantum
container.
Eraser, I can answer you. Quantum Eraser, you presented some quotes from some scientists or some, I can't remember where you got them from.
Citations, not
And I'm going to deal with those
I
quotes.
can't hear.
Oh, right. Those quotes you had of various things were people saying how you had to have a pressure and how you had to have a container. If you emailed those people and you said to them, but wouldn't gravity also count as a pressure, something would contain thing? They would say yes to you. And they'd say, well, obviously I was dealing with things in a lab. I was talking about containers on the surface of the Earth. So I dare you, John, I dare you to email those people you've got those quotes from and you ask them.
I
whether
triple dog
gravity
dare
would
you
also
to come in
count
here
as
next
a container,
time with an
and they would
Adderall
say
drip.
yes. And they would
That's
say
my
yes.
dare is
I
for you.
dare you to email those sources
Good night.
and ask them to give you an answer whether gravity would also count as a container, and they would say yes. So you've quoted them out of context. They were just considering situations in a lab or something similar.
So what's your proof of gravity exactly, Rumpus?
Drop a pencil.
Sorry,
What do you
that would
think
be
as a
that would be an
force then?
effect of a pencil
Newton's
dropping. That would be the
Right,
effect of a
Newton's
pencil
second law-
dropping.
Nathan, Newton's second law says
Sorry.
that to have a force,
Sorry.
to have a
Would your experiment for gravity proving be dropping a pencil?
that would be sufficient, and it'd be easier in a vacuum. To do it in a vacuum, make remove some.
Hold on. Do we observe natural vacuums?
Yes.
Where?
Right, turn a glass upside down. In your fill a glass full of water, hold it upside down in a washing up bowl, lift it up, and then the area above the space above the water in your upturned glass is not quite a vacuum, but it's very close.
So you would call that made by man then? I can make a vacuum.
Yeah, it's a physical thing, Nathan.
Sorry, did I say physical? Yes, this is another time where I say the word natural and Rumpus hears the word physical. So I'll say it again for the retarded member of the panel who doesn't seem to have a cognition ability to process words. So do you understand when I say natural, it does not mean created by man, which would be the antithesis of natural.
In all sorts of situations.
Sorry, Rumpus, you're not acknowledging you've got that OCD problem again where you keep talking.
Vacuum, Nathan.
Yeah, that would be a man-made vacuum, though, wouldn't it, Rumpus? That would be the antithesis of natural. Not man-made would be natural. Do you understand, Rumpus? I'm speaking that little bit slower just for you.
Right. So
we have an unholy vacuum that you're now proposing we test things in. And your test being a pencil that we drop. A pencil? That's your bloody test.
Trees use vacuum pressure to transpire. They get the water out.
Why are you now rinsing and repeating this vacuum pressure nonsense? Yeah, I've just taken this to pieces. Yeah, we don't have natural vacuums. You telling me about the man-made ones is the antithesis of natural science. You understand that, Rumpus? I couldn't give a crap about what you create. You can create a lawnmower, but it doesn't mean you can test on it and call it a natural phenomena.
Of course you can. You can create
yes, you can, but then you are deluded. Yes, you can, but then you're not doing science. Yes, you can, but then you are a moron.
Do you think we can do experiments on vacuums, Nathan?
We can do experiments on anything you like. It just wouldn't be an observation in the natural world.
So we can do experiments on vacuums.
We can do experiments on anything. But it doesn't make it a natural phenomenon now, does it, Rumpus?
Have you had a television with a cathode ray tube in it?
Yeah, that would be another man-made thing like a lawnmower now, wouldn't it? Look up natural. Yeah, you don't understand the word natural. It's clear that you're slow. I don't mind taking my time with you, but it is painstaking, Rumpus. Painstaking to have to explain what science is to somebody who claims to be part of it.
Which you must have had at some stage was created by scientists.
Yeah, so what? So what? We're not observing televisions in the natural world now, are we, you idiot?
So you don't think science can study cathode ray tubes then?
Science is a study of the natural world, not the science that you think it is.
Well, I don't care.
He's just off the planet.
Rumpus doesn't understand the difference between technology and science. They are very different things. Science studies the natural world. Technology makes televisions work.
He's basically saying a vacuum created by man isn't
but
natural.
he's saying that science can't. He's saying that science can't experiment.
But on the same,
he's saying science. He's saying science can't. He's saying science. No, I'm saying that science is a study of the natural world that excludes vacuum chambers and cathode ray tubes.
And are they part of science, Nathan?
If they are studied in the natural world, then they are
natural science, as in
by definition.
Nothing to do with man.
We don't have a natural observation of television sets, now do we?
Science study cathode ray tubes.
It's not a natural phenomena. How many times do I have to say it?
Yes, so are you saying that science cannot study cathode ray tubes?
You can study what you call science. What you call science can do whatever it likes. What you call science can do whatever it likes, Rumpus. But science is a study of the natural world, whether you like it or not.
Can science study
Science is a method.
No, science.
Don't
if we grow a tree, that's not natural then, is it?
Science
Science
study
is not
vacuums?
technology.
How do you think they ended up with cathode ray tubes, Nathan?
word.
Because science studied vacuums and decided to create a thing you can pass electrons through. And
Yes,
they had
it's a
to be
lovely
vacuum.
model, by the way. Thank you for
That's
showing
the
your
result of
model. It was worth the wait. It looks just like Earth.
John, could you read Rumpus the link I've just sent you in Skype? This is dead apt right for now.
Hey, Shroom.
Right there, Roy.
I don't see it, Anthony.
It's on the Skype side chat.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
What science is it? Part 3.
Rumpus, how does dropping
Yeah, I
the
can hear
pencil demonstrate
Someone's
the
asking a
gravity
question.
concept?
Who's asking me a question?
Read that to the Rumpus and tell me how it doesn't apply.
Oh, I have it right now. Oh, yeah, this link. I sent this to you, right?
Yeah, that's the one. Read that.
Yo,
Read that to
I can't read
Nathan.
it. Nathan's
Can I
just
read it
gonna-
without being interrupted? I doubt
well,
that.
if I don't get I'll tell you what, John. If you don't interrupt me, I won't interrupt you. How
I
about
don't.
that?
Well,
tell you
okay,
what,
fine.
I'll put the
Rumpus,
hangouts
you can
on
go
mute and
uninterrupted
I'll
if you let John go uninterrupted. So,
Okay,
John,
John,
you go ahead.
Okay. John.
Okay, it says from the University of Georgia. What science isn't? Part 3. Science is not technology. One of the mistakes many people make in thinking about science is to confuse it with technology. As a result, science often either receives undue credit for the mistakes of modern science in one's kitchen or undue blame for everything from overly firm tomatoes to nuclear war. In fact, science doesn't make things. Scientists develop the understanding of radiation sufficient for the invention of the microwave oven, but neither making a microwave oven nor using it are science. Scientists are in the business of generating knowledge, whereas engineers are in the business of generating technology.
Yeah, John, you can't go
In
on for
short,
hours. Yeah, I get the
science
message.
often
And I
leads
agree
to
with John. I agree with
technology,
you. John,
and it
I agree
often
with you.
uses technology,
I agree with you,
but
John.
it isn't technology, and in fact can operate quite independently of technology. End of statement. Good night.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully for sharing this debate. And of course, a massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you've not done so already, be sure to like, comment, share and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!